Hey guys, Scott here, Pine Barren Craftsman. Sunday night, another late night edition. We got to 60 subscribers, so I want to thank everybody for getting involved. Never thought in a million years that I'd have a channel that 60 people want to hear what I got to say once in a while, and I appreciate it. I'm getting some feedback from friends and family about the channel. They seem to like it. I don't think they had the same opinion for what I should do on the channel. I think they thought I'd probably be my typical more silly self, my typical more like quirky self, I guess. One of the things that people would always say about me if they met me for the first time, they say I'm very random. If you look at the channel, it kind of shines through a little bit. It's a very random channel. And if you're interested in that, like fresh stuff every day, as much as I can put up, it's not just about cars. It's not just about being a craftsman. It's not just about paintbrushes and Q-tips. We're trying to talk about whatever's interesting, whatever we're interested in, we can talk about it. Comment and I can talk about it. If somebody gives me a comment on an idea, I could lecture one, do like a fake, what are these lectures, whatever this is called, my thoughts. I could do a spit on one of them, spiel. Today, I cracked open my, I got like this box with some stuff in it from my childhood. I got a lot of stuff from my childhood. You saw my garage, but I came across this. I never had a diary, but there was a time when I was trying to be really like deep and thought inspired, probably around like 19, 20, 21, 22, like around those ages. And I actually wound up finding this like book that I was writing in, and I was writing in it backwards. It's pretty funny. I was like writing each page from this side forward. I didn't know what I was reading, trying to figure it out. My handwriting is atrocious. I can't read half of it, and I still can't read my own handwriting. But it was really cool. There were some cool thoughts in there. I might share them with you guys are interested, but there was one thing that somebody penciled in a different handwriting, and I don't know who it was. It's the craziest thing ever. It said, the foundation of youth is confusion. I was like, I don't know, is that some college stuff? I don't know. I don't know if it was somebody's thought or if they heard it or read it, but they put it in my book. And I was talking about like, I guess confusion, or talking about trying to make a decision, being torn. Anyway, so it's kind of a cool topic. There were some pictures in there, some drawings, like this weird journal that I forgot that I wrote. It's weird, man. 2004, 5. So I can't really break that book out because it's really hard to put it together and it's not going to make sense. But what I can do is I was inspired to talk about one of my other hobbies that meant a lot to me back then, and it does now. This book, okay? Bear with me on this, all right, because of the glare. A Guide to Field Identification, Birds of North America. I'm reading it backwards. This book, okay? This book I really enjoyed growing up. I'm an avid bird and watcher, right? I don't know every name. I don't go on the big year. I don't watch bird, YouTube channels. I don't think I have subscription to anything on my channels. But I did it for myself. I've always been interested in the birds. What are they doing? What's the call? Their little show that the male does to attract the mates. One bird like piles up stuff out in front of a hole in the ground with and he makes like a little hut. It's like nuts. Like it's crazy. They're just so amazing. The dances, like the birds of paradise, movements. So the local birds, North America, it's like I got into this book. And, if you're half interested in it, this is what it is. Expanded revised edition. So like inside, it goes through like how you could like break them down. Obviously these are ducks and mallards and, goose. The red-breasted merganser. I think I saw one of these for the first time. It shows you the map, the migratory map. It shows you colored, very nice painted pictures that make sense. It's not a photograph. It gives different things like male, female, the wings, the color when they're flying. Really cool book. People into birds, man. Like, is anybody into birds? Like, I like them. Now, I'm up here in the mountains. These are the cool ones, like the goshawk, harrier, harrier. I'm up here in the mountains. It's cold, a lot longer than it should be in like a birding, hobby. You want to get like the birds coming in like April, right? March, April. You want to start seeing some birds again. Took a while last year for them to come back up on the mountain and start singing. But all the birds in this book that I looked at, I got like some marked off that I've actually seen in my life. Whatever. Nothing prepared me for the loon, man. This whole video has been building up to this moment. The moose, whatever. They're cool, a little scary, a little sinister. But the loon, all-time favorite animal, bird of the Northeast. I don't know where their range is. I'm sure I could look it up in here real quick as I'm talking, but I'll probably get sidetracked. The sound of their call. I believe that they mate, right, for life. If not for life, I know that they are very dedicated to each other. They're like in nice relationships. I never thought this sound would exist as powerful as it does. If there's a reason to come to Maine or New Hampshire, wherever they are in Canada, try to find a lake that's known for having loons. I'm going to tell you a story that's going to put goosebumps on my neck. First time I came up to the lake here with my wife. I don't remember hearing them back in 2000 when I first came up. And 2010, I'm sure I did. But we heard crickets. It's hot. It's like 85 degrees, no air conditioning in the cabin we're at. We're just listening to these birds chirping, and I think they heard some cormorants. And then out of nowhere, it's like everything stopped. I promise this happened. I know it sounds ridiculous, and what is this guy talking about? It felt to my ear that everything stopped. The crickets, the cormorants, cars, it's like all the air got sucked out of them, and I heard this long loon call at dusk. And it spoke to me deep, man. I always say, man. It spoke to me deep to my soul. And I said, this is home. I said it. Before we moved up here, I said it. I said, this is home for me. That call is so wild and so brings me back to a time like where, natives to this continent were here and they're in awe of this stuff and appreciating it. And I felt like a guest on the planet. I felt like I was a guest, not that this is my house. I paid for this cabin to rent and this is where I'm going to be. I felt like all of our lives are flashes. I felt like the age of this planet, whatever you believe, is still a long time. And it really spoke to me. The stars came out. And they called back and forth several times. So the house we wound up buying, we're up on a small mountain hill. Doesn't look like a big mountain. It's just like an uphill. But we have a pretty good vantage point from our house. It's far enough away from the lake where you could see a lot of the lake portion that we could see. We wanted to be up on the mountain because or up on a hill or a ridge because we wanted to have the wind blow the bugs away in the summer, in the spring. And prices along the lakes are always more expensive. So we didn't mind looking at the scenery rather than right on the lake. Not to knock it. I mean, maybe there's parts of the lake that are on the water that don't get bugs. I could be wrong. I don't know, but I just always felt like a breeze is better for the bugs. So get me up where there's always a breeze. And there's a breeze up here. But I heard a loon all the way from the lake. I guess as the crow flies, I don't know, maybe it's a quarter mile, mile down. So that their voices carry across lakes. So as long as there's one in the area, so I'm fall asleep with the loon calling off the lake. Unbelievable feeling. And then you got like train sounds in the distance. I got on a tangent a little bit about the train sounds there, but it's a spiritual thing for me. So, and the birds are really what kind of catches my eye. Now I've seen a moose. I've seen a couple. I was driving back from a long trip to go get tire chains, and I saw a moose. I said to myself, I'm going to see a moose tonight. This is sketchy because it's dark. It's fall, late fall. And I said, I'm going to see a moose. And sure enough, I saw like the shadow of a whole animal, like kind of come to the shoulder and decide to turn back into the woods. I was like, whoa. I'm driving, okay? And I see my lights casting into the trees in these little shadows as we're going. And sure enough, there's a rack comes out of the woods. It's like straight up and down rack. It wasn't like wide like that. Like you would think it was like he was nose down. I know his eyes are on the side, so he's looking out. But the way he was looking face at nose to my, he's coming out of the woods. I said, look at this. You've never seen one at night. That's something that sticks with you. From a different world, looks like a different, like prehistoric animal compared to like a deer or even an elk, I can imagine. But this moose, man, it's like a camel mixed with a horse, mixed with a, I don't even know, hairy thing. So, little random conversation tonight, little blah, blah, blah. I appreciate you guys watching. I appreciate any feedback. If you guys want to generate some comments of things you want me to talk about, I have a lot of ideas and things I want to touch upon further. I also want to try to pull out some locals that want to be on the channel to promote their business or promote their thoughts. If they have a political side, they could speak it. I am open. I'm not going to push a narrative on my channel. Remember that. So if somebody's on here talking their stuff, I'm not going to censor them. I don't believe in censorship. Within, I don't want anybody to be vulgar and, downright cruel. I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings, but they can have their opinions. It's a free country. It's supposed to be. So, thank you for watching. Again, like and share, subscribe, comment. Give me some ideas of some stuff you want to hear me talk about, or ask me a question. I think that's better. And you're going to get the honest answer, or I won't respond. Thanks for watching.